Hello, and welcome to Heart of the Matter, a recorded broadcast where survivors come on and share their stories, inspiring us to live the healthiest lives we can. I'm Susan Smith, I'm your host, and I want to remind everyone that heart disease is the number one killer of women, taking the lives of 1 in 4. 48 million women in the United States are living with some kind of heart disease. I give you this statistic because my guest today is a heart survivor. I'm going to introduce her. I'm just so pleased to have with me Meg McCormick. I'm going to be telling you a little bit about her and asking her some questions. So Meg is a mom of 3 amazing children who are 23, 20, and 18. She's a dog mom to a dog named Boomer and a dog grandma to her son's puppy. She spends most of her time volunteering with PEO as well as the Sarver Heart Center in Tucson, Arizona. I personally know she is well known for her cookies and cupcakes. Won't you help me welcome Meg McCormick? Hi, Meg.
Hi, Susan. Thank you for having me today.
You're welcome. I'm so pleased you can be here. I'd like for you to start off telling your heart story. It's quite a doozy. Would you go ahead and tell us?
I will. So in 2010, I was a mom like everybody else, busy, working full time, volunteering my time and working at the school as a health aide and teaching Sunday school at church. And Thursday, Friday, I wasn't feeling very well. And I went to my doctor, who had been my doctor for over 20 years. And I told him that I wasn't feeling well, that I was very lethargic. I was falling asleep at my desk and I just didn't feel right. He ran tests, didn't see anything, thought I might be low on iron, prescribed some iron and some rest, which we all know doesn't happen with moms. And I went home and I bought a car on Saturday and I went to church on Sunday and taught Sunday school. And Sunday night I was in my craft room and I got a really weird pain in my jaw. And it was a pressure, but it was odd. And then I had a little bit of nausea that went with it. And being a health aide, I knew something wasn't right. So I went into the computer room and of course, no internet was working. And my partner at the time got the internet up and we did a little internet search only to find 3 really big words in red pop up in the screen. And that was seek immediate help. And, you don't want to see those words. But I'm still a woman and I still a mom and kind of hard to believe that things were happening. So I kissed my kids goodbye. I reassured them that everything would be fantastic and I would just see them in a little bit. Went off the emergency room and sat there for a while and they ran tests and they didn't see anything. My lipids were fine. My cardiac issues, everything was normal. But the little ER doctor said, you're kind of freaking me out because you think that something's not right. So I'm going to believe you and we're going to go ahead and get you a room and keep you overnight. I'm thinking, great, I'm going to get a good night's sleep. No big deal. So I got up and went to go use the restroom. And as I was using the restroom, I got a very, very odd fight or flight feeling over me. And I came out and I woke up my husband at the time and I said, something's not right. And I collapsed in sudden cardiac death right there in the emergency room. Of course, I don't remember any of it. I'm out of it. I'm told that it was a scene from ER, stat this, stat that, this going that way, this going the other way. All I know is I woke up completely intubated in a room, wondering where in the world I was. I didn't know anything. It's strange when you wake up in the hospital anyway. You're disoriented, but here I am completely intubated and people looking over me crying, trying to figure out what's happening. And come to find out I'd had a heart attack. The widowmaker, as what kills, most men, as we know, had clogged. And so that little tiny piece of plaque had launched into my heart and truly started over a whole new chapter in my life. So I spent 7 days in ICU, 10 days in the hospital, and had, because of the anoxic brain injury, brain damage was so severe, I couldn't brush my teeth. I didn't know, 1 minute to the next what was happening. I couldn't remember. I'd walk into a room for something and I'd forget it. I didn't know how to drive my car. I had to relearn everything from the very beginning again. And, good support system in place, thanks heavens. And lots of hours of counseling, lots of hours of rehabilitation, lots of hours of cardiac rehab. And, the right place at the right time and listening to my body saved my life. And advocating for myself at the emergency room saved my life. And so, I tell women, just because you don't think it is, don't ignore it. Go to the hospital. Go find out. I have since, come out. I have a whole new lease in life, and I am one of the fortunate ones because, as you said, one in 4 women will die of heart disease, and it's so very easy as a mom and as a woman to take care of everybody else, and we forget to take care of ourselves. So, biggest thing I would say was just listen. And my thing is, it's better to be wrong and alive, right? I'd rather go to the hospital and have a bill than to ignore it and not be here to fight for it.
You're absolutely right. I hear that so many times that some women won't go because they don't want to inconvenience anyone that might have to care for their kids or their animals, or they don't want to go and be embarrassed.
Absolutely.
And it'd be better to have a bill from the hospital and have that diagnosis and be alive than to die.
Absolutely.
So true. So
Absolutely. True. We, as women, we, like I said in the beginning, we are caretakers. Our job is to take care of everybody else. And we are so terrible at doing it for ourselves. And
you are so right. I know. Let me ask you a couple of questions. So you actually died and they brought you back, and that's what caused the brain damage. You
Correct.
called it an acronym in something. What is the name of that condition?
The traumatic brain injury, or you mean the cardiac actual?
Okay. So do they call it TBI for the traumatic brain injury?
Is traumatic brain injury, yes.
I got it. Okay, that's what I heard you say. All right.
You probably heard me say the anoxic event.
Yes.
Yes. So that was the lack of oxygen to the brain.
Okay. I'm learning lots of new words today. All right. Thank you for explaining that. So thank you for sharing your story, but I want to ask you some questions.
Absolutely.
What were you feeling after the experience? What emotions did you have?
Well, at first it's a disbelief. It can't happen to me, and even when you realize you see it on the charts and you see it in the documentation, it can't happen to me. That didn't happen to me. And then, the other part of it is you go through a time of depression, you go through a time of confusion, you go through a time of self-doubt. It takes its toll on your psyche as much as it does on your body. And I think we tend to forget that. It renewed my faith. That's probably the biggest thing. I was already a woman of faith, but having had the experience that I had while I was gone, of course, it renews that. But for me, it really forces me to choose wisely and to really give heed to what's important in life. I don't think I took very much time to stop and smell the roses, as they say beforehand. I really appreciate the sunsets. I appreciate the sunrises. I appreciate every day I have another opportunity to reach out and help somebody or talk to somebody or share just, the ray of sunshine. Honestly.
That is so true. And I always bring up the question about emotions because I want the listeners to hear it and to know that the emotions that they're feeling, that they feel when they were diagnosed with heart disease are normal. You can be angry, you can be depressed, you can be confused. It's very normal. And
emotions run gamuts and they're not consistent. If you look at the 7 stages of grief, you kind of think that maybe that's how logically it would happen, but it doesn't happen that way.
No.
And one minute you're accepting of it, and the next minute you're angry because of it, and then you're guilty because of it, and then you come to peace with it for a little while, and then something sets you off and just triggers all over again.
It's a real roller coaster. I totally agree. So did you make some lifestyle changes afterwards?
I made a lot of lifestyle changes. I am, and I implore women to do the two words that I use more often than anything, which is I choose. So now I choose. I choose who gets my time, who gets my energy, who gets my angst, who gets my the good part of me, who the things that I walk away from and I don't feel guilty about them anymore. I used to be the woman that dotted the I's, crossed the T's, did the backflip, stuck it, and everything was perfect. And if it wasn't perfect, it wasn't. Nobody else would notice, but I noticed.
Um,
I've learned to let those things go a little bit more.
I can so relate. That's excellent advice as far as lifestyle change. So what did you learn about yourself after this experience? What about you? What did you learn about you?
For me, I learned that I hadn't been putting myself first. And I think that was probably my biggest realization, was that I can't be the best version of me if I'm not here. I can't be here for anybody else if I don't take care of me first.
Oh,
And that's so difficult for us to do.
absolutely. So I have one more question before we sign off, and that is, what advice would you give women about heart disease? I know you've given lots of tips throughout our talk, but what advice would you give us?
Advocate. If you have any doubts, if you have the slightest inkling, advocate. If you don't like the answers you're getting, advocate. Ask questions. Fight for it, because you're the only person that knows your body. You're the only person that will advocate for yourself. And life is too precious to take it for granted. So
Absolutely. That's excellent advice. And thank you for sharing that. And thanks for coming on and sharing your story and all the insights about what you did and what you changed and what you learned. Oh my gosh. So
Well,
I'm going to be signing off now, and I'll be talking to you after we hang up, if you will. But I'm going to say goodbye to the viewers and thank you for stopping in. And until next time, be heart healthy, everybody. Bye-bye.